I found out about my grandson's first birthday the same way strangers did. Facebook. Balloons, bounce house, 50 guests, and not one invitation with my name on it. I raised that boy's father by myself, co-signed his mortgage, held that baby the day he was born, but somehow I was too much to be invited. Funny thing is, 7 days later, I was suddenly not too much. I was necessary. I'm 56 years old. My name is Diane Carter, and last month my son threw my grandson's first birthday party, and I wasn't invited. Not forgotten, not accidentally left off a text chain, deliberately excluded. Now, let me back this up a little. I raised my son Marcus by myself. His father dipped when Marcus was 6. I worked double shifts at a dental office, picked up catering gigs on weekends, and still made it to every school play and basketball game. When Marcus married Jenna 3 years ago, I welcomed her like family, helped with the wedding deposit, gave them $18,000 from my retirement savings when they were short. When they bought their house, I co-signed. Yeah, big mistake. But at the time, I thought that's what mothers do. When baby Elijah was born, I was there, in the hospital, holding Jenna's hand, crying harder than both of them. That boy, he's my heart outside my body. So when his first birthday was coming up, I assumed I'd be involved. Silly me. I found out about the party from Facebook. Facebook! I'm scrolling through my feed, and there it is. Balloons, Elijah turns 1. Photos of balloons, decorations, a bounce house. My son smiling, Jenna in some pastel dress, and 50 people in the background. My church friends were there. Marcus's co-workers were there. Even the neighbor I barely like was there. But not me. I stared at that post for a full 5 minutes before it even registered. No invite, no, hey mom, it's small, no, it's just her side of the family, nothing, just silence, and a whole album of proof that I wasn't wanted. I didn't call right away. I've lived long enough to know you don't react when your blood's boiling. You wait, you breathe, you gather information. So I waited 2 days. Then Marcus called me, not to apologize, to explain. Mom, don't make this a thing. Don't make this a thing? Like I was overreacting, like I was dramatic, like being excluded from my first grandbaby's birthday was some petty misunderstanding. Why wasn't I invited? I asked calmly. Well, Jenna thought it might be overwhelming. Overwhelming for who? You. Oh, so now I'm fragile? I'm the unstable one? Here's the real translation. Jenna doesn't like that Elijah lights up when he sees me. She doesn't like that I know how to calm him down. She doesn't like that Marcus listens when I speak. And she definitely doesn't like that I helped finance half their lifestyle. But here's what Marcus doesn't know. I wasn't hurt because of the party. I was hurt because I realized something deeper. They don't see me as family anymore. They see me as useful. And once usefulness fades, so do invitations. That night, I made a decision. I stopped initiating contact. No Sunday dinners, no how's the baby, no random grocery drop-offs. Nothing. If I wasn't important enough for a birthday invite, I wasn't important enough to keep pouring into. 3 days later, Marcus texted, "Mom, are you mad?" I didn't respond. Let him sit in that discomfort, because for once, I wasn't going to fix what I didn't break. And then something interesting happened. Jenna called me. First time in months. Her tone sweet as pie. "Diane, we miss you." Oh, now we're Diane? Not Mom? Not Mama D? Interesting. Turns out there was more going on behind that birthday party than I knew, and they were about to need me bad. You see, the party cost way more than they planned. The decorations, rented. The catering, expensive. The bounce house, liability insurance required. Marcus put most of it on credit. And guess whose name is still tied to that mortgage? Mine.
A week after that birthday party, they showed up at my door, unannounced, holding Elijah, looking stressed. And that's when Marcus said something I'll never forget. "Mom, we need you." And this time, I wasn't so quick to say yes.
They showed up Sunday afternoon. No text, no warning, just a knock at my door like nothing ever happened. I opened it, and there stood my son, looking tired. Jenna behind him, holding Elijah, diaper bag slung over her shoulder like she was ready to camp out if she had to. And the first thing Marcus said, "Mom, can we come in?" Oh, now it's Mom again. Funny how that works. I stepped aside. Didn't hug them, didn't rush for the baby. I just walked back to my living room and sat down. They followed. The air felt heavy, like everyone knew we were about to address the elephant in the room, but nobody wanted to say its name. Finally, I broke the silence. "So, how was the party?" Marcus swallowed. "It was good. Looked expensive." Jenna shifted in her seat. "That's actually what we wanted to talk about." There it is. Not an apology, not a "we messed up." Money. Marcus rubbed his hands together like he used to when he was about to confess something as a kid. The party went a little over budget. "A little?" I raised an eyebrow. He hesitated. "About 12,000 over?" I almost laughed. $12,000 for a 1-year-old who's going to remember none of it? Jenna stiffened. It wasn't just for him. It was about creating memories. "Oh, I saw the memories," I said calmly. "All over Facebook." That one landed. Here's the part they didn't think through. When you co-sign a mortgage for your child, you don't just sign paperwork. You tie your credit, your financial stability, your peace of mind to their decisions. And apparently, their decision was to throw a Pinterest-perfect party while juggling debt like it's Monopoly money. Marcus leaned forward. "We just need a little help getting back on track." "Help how?" "Just until tax season, maybe cover 2 mortgage payments." 2 mortgage payments. After I wasn't invited into the house I helped secure? I let the silence stretch, because sometimes silence makes people hear themselves. "Let me ask you something," I said. "Did it ever cross your mind to invite me?" Marcus blinked. Jenna jumped in. "We didn't want tension." "Tension?" "Yes, you and I, we don't always see eye to eye." "That's true, because I see responsibility, and she sees aesthetics." "You thought I'd cause a scene?" I asked. "No. Then what?" Jenna's voice softened. "You have a strong presence, Diane." Translation: Elijah loves you, Marcus listens to you, and I don't like it. Marcus finally sighed. "Mom, Jenna felt like you overshadow her sometimes." Overshadow her at her own son's birthday? I'm 56 years old. I don't compete with my daughter-in-law, but I also don't shrink to make someone else comfortable. I leaned back. "You excluded me from my grandson's first birthday because I'm too present?" Nobody answered, because the truth, it sounds uglier when you say it out loud. Then Marcus said the part that shifted everything. "If we miss another mortgage payment, it could affect you too." "Oh, so now we're acknowledging my involvement." Good, because here's something else they forgot. I still get the statements. I see the late fees. I see the minimum payments on credit cards. I see patterns. "You didn't just overspend on a party," I said quietly. "You're drowning." Marcus's jaw tightened. "We've got it under control." "No, you don't. Because people who have it under control don't show up at their mother's house asking for bailout money." Jenna's eyes filled slightly. "We just thought you'd understand." Understand what? Being taken for granted? Being erased? Being used when convenient? No, I don't understand that. I stood up slowly, walked to the kitchen, poured myself some iced tea.
Let them sit in uncertainty. When I came back, I looked at my grandson. Sweet baby Elijah. Completely innocent in all this. That's the only reason I didn't tell them to leave right then. I will not pay your mortgage, I said calmly. Marcus looked stunned. Mom? I will not fund poor decisions, and I will not reward disrespect. Jenna's face flushed. This isn't about the party anymore. Oh, it absolutely is, because the party wasn't balloons. It was a message, and the message was clear. You're not needed here. Marcus ran his hands over his face. So what are you saying? I'm saying, if I'm tied to this house financially, then I deserve transparency. And if I'm family, then I'm treated like family, not like an ATM. The room went quiet again. This time, different, heavier. Marcus finally whispered, "What do you want, Mom?" That's when I realized something. For the first time in a long time, I had leverage, and they knew it. I want honesty, I said. I want boundaries, and I want respect. Jenna swallowed hard. And if we can't? I held her gaze. Then I'll protect myself. And trust me, I know how to protect myself. They left that evening without money, without promises, without hugs, but something had shifted, because now they understood something they'd forgotten. I may be their mother, but I am not weak. 3 days later, I got a call from the bank, and what they told me changed everything.
3 days after they left my house, my phone rang at 8:17 a.m. Caller ID, mortgage services. My stomach dropped. I already knew. When you've lived long enough, you can feel trouble before it speaks. I answered. Mrs. Carter, we're calling regarding the property on Willow Creek Drive. That's Marcus's house, the house I co-signed, the house I wasn't welcome in for my grandson's birthday. There have been 2 missed payments. 2. Not 1, 2. Marcus told me they were a little behind. Little behind doesn't trigger escalation notices. Little behind doesn't flag my credit. This wasn't a rough patch. This was a slide. After I hung up, I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I opened my laptop, logged into the shared mortgage portal, and there it was. Late fees stacking up, minimum credit card payments, one card maxed, another nearly there, and a brand new line of credit opened 2 months ago. Oh, so the party wasn't the problem. The party was the symptom. I leaned back in my chair and whispered, "What are y'all doing?" Because this wasn't just irresponsible, this was reckless. And reckless with my name attached? Absolutely not. I didn't call Marcus. I called my attorney. Now, before you think I'm dramatic, let me explain something. When you co-sign at 56 years old, you don't have decades to rebuild credit if things go south. Retirement isn't a fantasy anymore. It's around the corner. And I will not be eating canned soup at 75 because my son wanted Instagram-worthy memories. My attorney confirmed what I already knew. If they default, you're equally liable. Equally. That word hit different, because I was excluded socially, but included financially. Convenient. That afternoon, Marcus texted, "Mom, can we talk tonight?" "Oh, now we can talk?" I responded, "Come by at 6. No emojis, no softness, just clarity. They showed up again. This time, no diaper bag, no small talk. Jenna looked pale. Marcus looked defensive. I didn't waste time. I spoke to the bank. Marcus froze. "You what?" I spoke to the bank. Jenna's voice cracked slightly. "We were going to tell you." "When?" I asked calmly. "After foreclosure papers?" Marcus stood up. "Why would you jump to that?" "Because you already missed 2 payments." Silence. Here's what I learned that night. The party wasn't $12,000 over budget. It was $19,400. They didn't just rent a bounce house. They upgraded catering, custom dessert table, live photographer, video montage, DJ, valet parking for a 1-year-old. And they didn't tell me because they knew I'd say it was insane. Correct, it was insane. But here's the part that really shifted the room. Jenna finally snapped. "You always make us feel small." I blinked. "Excuse me? You judge everything. The way we parent, the way we spend, the way we live." I took a slow breath. "I judge recklessness, not you." Marcus jumped in. "She feels like she can't measure up around you." Measure up to what? Working 2 jobs? Sacrificing vacations? Living within means? That's not intimidation, that's discipline. Then Jenna said something that hit deeper than she realized. "Elijah lights up for you more than me." There it was, the real issue. Not money, not tension, insecurity. I softened just a little. Babies connect to whoever feels steady. That's not competition, that's consistency. Jenna's eyes filled. But insecurity mixed with debt is a dangerous cocktail. Because instead of asking for guidance, they tried to erase the comparison, which meant erasing me. Marcus finally looked exhausted. "We can't catch up without help." "Why?" I asked. And that's when the final piece dropped. Jenna lost her job 2 months ago. Didn't tell anyone, not even some of their friends. They kept up appearances, kept spending, kept pretending, and now they were upside down. "So the party," I said slowly, "was damage control?" Marcus nodded. "We didn't want people knowing we were struggling. So instead of humility, they chose illusion. And now illusion had interest rates." Then Marcus said the sentence that brought us full circle. "Mom, we need you back." Back. Interesting word. Not "we're sorry," not "we messed up," just back. "What does back mean?" I asked. "Sunday dinners, helping with Elijah, maybe watching him more while Jenna job hunts." Ah, now we're valuable again, because the budget's tight, because childcare costs money, because reality showed up. I looked at my son, my baby, and saw fear behind his pride. And I looked at Jenna and saw insecurity drowning in pressure. But here's what they needed to understand. Love does not mean unlimited access, and forgiveness does not erase consequences. "I will help," I said slowly. Both their faces lifted. "But on my terms." Marcus nodded quickly. "Anything." I held up a finger. "Full financial transparency." Second finger. "Budget counseling." Third. "And if another payment is missed, I take legal steps to protect myself." Jenna looked shaken. "Legal?" "Yes, legal. Because family doesn't mean foolish." Then I added the condition they didn't expect. "And next weekend, we host Elijah's real birthday." Marcus frowned. "It already happened." "No," I said calmly. "That was a party. This will be family." They left that night quieter than they came, not begging, not defensive, just humbled. But what they didn't know yet was that humility was only the beginning. Because when you exclude someone who built the foundation, you better be ready when the foundation starts shifting. The following Saturday, I hosted Elijah's real first birthday. Not a spectacle, not a performance. Family. I didn't rent a venue, didn't hire a DJ, didn't call a photographer. I cooked from scratch. Pot roast, mac and cheese, cornbread, banana pudding, the kind Marcus used to beg for as a kid. Because memories aren't made with invoices, they're made with presence. Marcus and Jenna arrived 20 minutes late. I noticed. I didn't comment. Jenna looked nervous walking into my house, like she expected judgment to be hanging from the ceiling with the balloons. It wasn't. What was hanging? Accountability. A few close relatives were there. My sister Gloria, Marcus's godmother, 2 cousins, no crowd, no spectacle, just people who actually show up when life gets hard. And here's the part that shifted everything. When Elijah saw me, he squealed, arms out, full body excitement, didn't hesitate, didn't look around, straight to me. The room saw it, Jenna saw it, and this time she didn't fake a smile. She looked hurt. I held that baby and whispered, Grandma's got you. Not to compete, not to prove anything, just steady, consistent, safe. Dinner was calm at first. Then Aunt Gloria, who has zero filter, asked the question, "So why wasn't Diane at the first party?" Forks paused. Marcus froze. Jenna stiffened. I kept chewing. Let them answer. Marcus cleared his throat. It was small. Gloria raised an eyebrow. Looked pretty big online. Silence. There's something about family that exposes truth without even trying. Jenna finally spoke. "We made a mistake." The room shifted. That was the first real ownership I'd heard. She didn't blame tension, didn't blame schedules, didn't blame me. She said, mistake, progress. After dinner, I gathered everyone in the living room. No dramatic speech, just calm clarity. "I want to say something." The room quieted. I looked at Marcus first, then Jenna. Family is not for show. It's not curated. It's not about who looks best in photos. It's about who stands with you when the photos stop. Nobody interrupted, because when truth is steady, it doesn't need volume. Then I did something they didn't expect. I handed Marcus a folder. Inside, a printed financial plan, budget breakdown, debt snowball layout, contact information for a financial counselor I trust, and, most important, a copy of the cosigner agreement highlighted. "I am willing to help, but I will not drown with you." Marcus swallowed hard. Jenna's eyes filled. Not embarrassed, not defensive, just exposed. Then came the moment I knew we were at a crossroads. Marcus stood up, walked over to me, and in front of everyone said, "I'm sorry, Mom." Not defensive, not rushed, not quiet, clear and honest. Jenna followed. "I was insecure, and I handled it wrong." There it was, the word she couldn't say before, insecure. That's the real villain in most families. Not money, not pride, fear. And here's what most people don't understand about women over 50. We're not bitter, we're not controlling, we're not dramatic. We're seasoned. We've survived enough to see patterns early, and I saw theirs before they did. Later that night, after everyone left, Marcus stayed behind. Just him. He sat at my kitchen table like he used to after high school games. "Mom, were you really going to take legal steps?" "Yes." He nodded slowly. "I don't blame you." That right there, growth. Then he said something that hit deeper than the apology. "I think I've been trying to prove I don't need you." Ah, there it is. Sons don't just grow up. They try to separate, to establish independence. But independence doesn't mean erasing the woman who built you. It means standing tall without pretending she didn't hold you up. I placed my hand over his. "I don't need to run your life, Marcus, but I refuse to be erased from it." He nodded. "I get that now." And for the first time in weeks, I believed him. Jenna called me the next morning, not for money, not for babysitting, just to talk. She asked for advice about updating her resume. She admitted she'd been comparing herself to me. Me at 56, like we were in competition. I laughed softly. "I had 30 more years to mess up and learn, honey. Give yourself time." That conversation changed everything, because insecurity can't survive transparency. And then, 1 week later, Marcus made a post. Not a flashy one, no filters, just a simple photo of Elijah sitting on my lap from the real birthday. Caption: "Family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up. We're learning." No tags, no drama, just truth. But here's the real twist. They didn't just beg me to join their lives again. They finally understood what joining meant. It meant respect, boundaries, and accountability. Because I was never angry about a party. I was angry about being minimized. And once that stopped, the healing started. 3 months later, everything looked different. Not perfect, not polished, just honest. And honestly, that's better. Marcus and Jenna started budget counseling the week after Elijah's real birthday. Not because I forced them, because they were scared enough to listen. That's the difference. You can't drag grown people into maturity. They have to trip into it themselves. The house? No more fancy upgrades. No more impulse spending. The extra SUV they didn't need? Sold. Subscription services? Canceled. Jenna picked up contract work while job hunting. Marcus started taking overtime. And for the first time since that Facebook party, I saw effort. Not performance. Effort. And here's what surprised me the most. They stopped asking me for money. They asked for advice. Big difference. Mom, does this budget look realistic? Mom, can you review Jenna's resume? Mom, do you think we should refinance? That's partnership, not dependency. But let me be clear about something. I still protected myself. I met with my attorney again. We adjusted paperwork, added clauses, created a written agreement outlining responsibility percentages. Not because I don't love my son, because love without boundaries becomes resentment, and I refuse to be a resentful mother. Marcus didn't fight it. He signed everything. That told me more than any apology ever could, because accountability is louder than I'm sorry. Now let's talk about Jenna. She surprised me. Instead of competing with me, she started learning from me. One afternoon, she came over alone, sat at my kitchen table, no baby, no Marcus, just her. I've been trying to be perfect, she admitted. Perfect wife, perfect mom, perfect house. I nodded. And who told you that was required? She looked down. Social media, I guess. There it is again. Performance culture. The silent pressure to make everything look flawless, even if you're drowning behind the scenes. I raised Marcus in a 2-bedroom apartment, I told her. No granite countertops, no balloon arches. And he still turned out fine. She laughed through tears. That was the moment we stopped being opponents and started being women in different seasons. And Elijah? That baby still lights up when he sees me. But now, when he runs into my arms, Jenna smiles for real, because she's not threatened anymore. She understands something she didn't before. A grandmother's love doesn't subtract from a mother's, it multiplies it. 6 months after that missed birthday, they invited me over for dinner. No occasion, no crisis, just Wednesday night. And when I walked in, there were pictures on the wall from the real birthday. One of Elijah smashing cake, one of Marcus laughing, and one of me holding my grandson. Centered, not cropped, not in the background, centered. Marcus caught me looking. "You're not optional, Mom." Simple sentence, heavy meaning. Later that night, after they went to bed and I was loading the dishwasher, because yes, I still do that, Marcus said something that closed the chapter. "I thought independence meant pushing you out." I looked at him. "It means standing on what I taught you." He nodded slowly. "I'm finally starting to." Now, let me say this for every woman over 50 watching this story. We are not backup plans. We are not emergency funds. We are not emotional support systems on standby. We are foundations. And foundations don't beg to be included. They simply stand. Did they beg me to join them again? Yes, but not the way you think. They begged with humility, with change, with growth. That's the only kind of begging that matters. And me, I didn't rescue them. I repositioned myself. I stopped overgiving, stopped shrinking, stopped absorbing consequences that weren't mine. And once I did that, they stepped up. Because when you remove the cushion, people either rise or fall. My son rose. Last week, Elijah turned 18 months. Small dinner, family only. No balloon arches, no DJs, just laughter. At one point, Marcus raised his glass and said, "To the woman who built me and refused to let me break us." I didn't cry. Okay, maybe a little, but not out of hurt, out of pride. Because this story was never about a birthday party. It was about respect. And respect isn't given to the loudest person in the room. It's given to the one who stays steady when everything shakes. So if you're a mother over 50 watching this story, and you feel excluded, minimized, used,
Pause. Step back. Protect yourself. And let silence do what arguing never could. Because sometimes the most powerful move a woman can make is not chasing a seat at the table she built. It's calmly reminding everyone she owns part of the house.